Is it hiding? Okay. We are now broadcasting. Hey, we are broadcasting. Welcome to the Fantastic Report. Hey, watch out. Here we go. And it's party time central here. All right, welcome to Tim Fantastic Report. This is the Fantastic Report, right, Sydney?
Right.
This is Sid Sirloin. We are dealing with our computer and we're partying here. We've got our little disco balls going in the background, so we're cooking. That's the music we wrote the other day. Didn't we write this, Sydney?
Yes.
So it's our music, our new Latin dance groove, and we think it's great. Right, Sydney?
Oh, yeah.
We love grooving. Yeah. I hope you're enjoying the music. I think we're having fun here, but I think it's the fun is about time to stop. So we're about to stop the fun. And that was about the end of it anyway. So we are here to talk about free speech today, aren't we, Sid?
Yes.
And so we're here to talk about free speech, and we believe in free speech, don't we, Sid?
Yes, we do.
We believe in the right of all people to have free speech, and then we want to now today talk about the actual First Amendment itself, right, Sydney?
Right.
And what this First Amendment says. People don't even probably even know what the First Amendment says and what their right of free speech is and what it isn't. Now, first of all, we don't advocate and we don't believe that calling for violence is ever acting in free speech, do we?
No.
And we'll also say that we don't believe that people protesting and getting violence towards other people that don't agree with them, that is not free speech either, is it?
No.
They have no right to do that. And so in the First Amendment that they have no right to do that. And we're going to go over that in a minute. But I think first, before we do, I'm going to shut off some lights. And Sid will entertain you here for a second with some dance music while I go turn some electricity, because we're energy conscious here, but we're going to keep boogieing for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Go, Sid. Boogie, Sid, boogie. Sorry. We're getting our aerobicides in here, right, Sydney?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We like to be aerobics. We're robinizing. We're robicizing here. It's a beautiful day to aerobicize. It's very hot in Seattle. We're in Seattle, right, Sydney?
Oh, yes.
We are indeed in Seattle, in case you didn't know that. But I do appreciate y'all, hanging out to watch our video. And I think we'll keep on going here and just see if we can get any actual people watching. So, Sid, how was your day today?
That was pretty good. It's a hot day, people that...
Do you know everybody? I beat Sid up earlier, and, I turned him into a little puddle of jelly. And the reason I did this is because, he's Sid Sirloin. But that is our life and not yours. But I tell you, what I really want to happen is for all us to come together and love one another and find hope and positive change, right, Sydney?
Right.
And so because we all need hope and we all need positive change, but we also need action. And part of our action is our speech. So if you feel frustrated by the world around you, you don't have a lot of ability to do much about it, do you, Sid?
No.
I mean, you can go vote, but if you're voting for a Democrat or a Republican, then you're actually, in the past, it seems like you were voting for the same thing. And I think that people that have a globalist view of things, and there are some people that genuinely believe that it's best to human nature that if we all come together as a giant one planet organization. And we know Michio Kaku, we quote him, as right. He believes that humans should evolve and merge with machines. And Sid and I believe that the best machine is the human body, and we should evolve into the best spiritual parts of our body. Isn't that right, Sydney?
That is correct.
Yeah, see, Robot Sid, he is my personal robot. Sydney, how long have you been my personal robot?
Oh, going on about 20 years or so.
20 years is a long time to serve one person. Right. So we hope you understand that Sid needs to get rich, so watch our videos. Subscribe. We want you to subscribe, don't we?
Oh, yes.
Subscribe to our channel, like the channel, do all those things, pass it, share around. Because we've got, I believe we got some important things to talk about, don't we, Sydney?
Yes.
And because we have important things to talk about, we think that some of these things, we don't make a lot of these videos. We usually are spending time with our band, right, Sydney?
Yes.
Or trying to survive, pay our rent, because we pay our rent with our music and with all the creative, we sell art, we do other things, we create products, and we hope that people will share in them. And that's how we have always made our living, isn't it?
Yes.
So both of us for over 20 years have made our living on music. And so that's more important to us than political speech, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because our free speech is our music. That to us is our way of speaking. And so what we'd like to happen is that for everybody to come on board with us, and we all want that, don't we, Sydney?
Yes. And
if we have that, we could afford to buy some nice cameras, and we could do a lot of other things that we'd like to do for the future of Tim Fantastic and Sid Sirloin, and for the future of our well-being as people on the planet, because we all got to pay our bills, and we're all trying to find ways to make money. And I've spent my life not ever serving the system, haven't I, Sid?
Right.
Now, because we don't serve a system, I've never been a slave to anybody else but my own motivations to get up and go to work. And I just want that to be heard. Isn't that correct, Sid?
That's correct.
But some of the things in life that have been pretty disappointing to me is having to vote for a Democrat or having to vote for a Republican when they have exactly the same views as far as it goes to who the people they're serving. They seem to want to serve the people in Zimbabwe, or serve the people in Mexico, or serve the people in Canada, or serve the people in Yugoslavia, although they don't want to serve the Russians right now for some reason. And so, but we need the Russians because they are very intelligent people, aren't they, Sydney?
Yeah.
They've done a lot of good for our societies, and they actually helped. Without the Russians, we wouldn't have an America, would we, Sydney?
No.
Because America was created by the Russians as our sent over troops. And there were Russian volunteers to help fight with the American Revolution. There was also a great bit of land they pretty much gave us for a song and a prayer. And that's probably because they got 75% of the land mass of the planet. But, it was nice of them to give us Alaska for a very cheap price, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that's a gift that just keeps on giving. I prefer it to be considered a gift because we didn't pay hardly nothing for it. So the Russians were glad to see we were kicking Britain's ass because the Russians and the Brits don't got a whole lot in common, and they don't really care for each other. So it's no surprise to us that all the spy information all came from a British guy. Oh, why did we fight the revolution? Sid, did we fight the revolution against the Russians?
No.
Did we fight the revolution against the French?
No.
Did we fight the revolution against the Spanish?
No.
No. We fought the revolution against England, the British, the England. So we're going to trust one of their spies, and they still control 90% of the planet with their banks, and they still control
most of the land.
The land, and a lot of voting machines are owned by British guys who go and talk to the Queen. So there's a lot of things going on out there that maybe the average person isn't aware of. But because we stay informed, and I'm an information nut, I find out as much information so I can make an informed opinion about what's going on. And just like we said about all these things in the past, all the things that we had predicted in other videos and we had talked about, all have come true, haven't they?
Yeah.
And so I don't want to feel like I'm going to be right all the time, because I don't want to be right about half the stuff, because half the time I think the world's going to blow up, don't I?
Yeah.
So I don't want the world to blow up. I want us all to live in peace, including Sid and I. We made our differences, and we're better now, right, Sydney?
Oh yeah.
We're better. So we all go through trials and tribulations, and you try to have conversations, and you work that out. So for people to go around, calling for violence against people's children and all that stuff, you know what? That's not free speech. Is it, Sydney?
No.
It's not really free speech. I mean, opinions and stuff are free speech. If you can give an opinion and give it without yelling and screaming, I think, but if you have an opinion and you want to yell it and scream it, I mean, I got thick skin. If you want to, have an opinion that's separate minded, you can yell and scream all you want, but it doesn't make you right, does it?
No.
Yelling and screaming doesn't make you right. It just makes you yelling and screaming. And I don't know if you're going to convince anybody with your argument. If you're yelling and screaming, are they going to convince them that we should not support other people because they're yelling and screaming at us?
Right.
I mean, part of what makes America America is our freedom of speech. It's our First Amendment, the very first. It's not the second. It's not the third. It's not the fourth. It's not the, on and on. It is the first. Why is it the first?
It's the most important.
More important. Freedom of thought. Freedom to think what you want to think. Freedom to argue, to have a discussion about issues, so you don't feel like you're going to be endangered because you have an opinion that some crazy person doesn't agree with. And as far as I'm concerned, I know this might piss some people off, but if you're out protesting and you're doing violence in these protests and you're blocking streets and you're doing things, that's not peaceably assembling, is it, Sidney?
No.
If you walk and you want to march to the street, you want to assemble and do it peacefully without screaming and calling names and beating people up, and people are blaming a lot of violence on the right. Oh, they're saying, oh, they just, well, that's a complete lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we know, we were there, we watch it, they think we're so stupid that we didn't watch what was going on 2 years ago. Did we watch what was going on 2 years ago?
Yeah.
What's happening? Oh, the Democrats were falsifying attacks. They were making shit up. And then they were going out and paying people to go attack people at fucking speeches by the political right. The guy everybody hates. I won't mention his name because it'll all trigger you. So I don't want to trigger anybody, because I want you to listen to what I'm saying, because it's so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, why is it important? Because there's so many people in the media and in general culture who are accepting this is okay. And if you're going to say that Alex Jones, who is definitely bombastic and loud and no doubt about it, but then again, if you take one little bit of a sentence, anybody can sound like an asshole. Right, Sydney?
Right.
Sorry for the language. Language report for all you youngsters out there. Well, there might be some swearing, so be aware. Sid is a vulgar person. Aren't you, Sid?
Yeah.
No, he isn't gonna. You weren't supposed to agree to that, Sid. Okay. That's why he's such a good yes man. All right, now Now look, I want you to listen to this very plainly and very clearly. Violence, promoting violence, like on MSNBC, for instance, I want to know, this guy was on MSNBC, I don't remember his name, it was a couple months ago, and he basically said that all Trump supporters were to be held responsible and that we should go and confront them and doing all these things, right? And Maxine Waters repeated the same thing.
Right.
You know what? That's not free speech. You say, what do you mean that's not free speech? No, that's inciting violence. That's inciting people to act against peacefully assembly. That's not free speech. And you could conceivably delete every single one of these major media networks based on what is and what isn't free speech. Just based on this issue alone, and let me prove it to you. I'm going to go and share a video here, just a second here. Let's go look at what the videos we're sharing. So let's go. This will be cool. We're going to be multiple going here. That's exciting, isn't it, Sydney?
Oh, yeah.
We always like that when that happens. All right. So now check this out. Let's read this together. Are you reading? Are you reading with me, Sydney? Let's read it.
Yeah.
Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of a religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Now that's something that the government is getting in the way of people practicing their religion in a free way. So but those people who are practicing their religion can't push their religion on everyone else, because everybody has the right to the free exercise of religion thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Well, first of all, Alex Jones and InfoWars is press. Alex Jones is an opinion show, but InfoWars is press. They have other shows they are trying to expand. Now, I agree, he does it in a very bombastic way, and he should never seemingly threaten people, but let's look at the honest truth. For like the last fucking 20 years, people have been attacking Alex Jones, even though he's been right. And we say, what do you mean? How can you say Alex Jones was right? Well, we just heard Jimmy Dore complain about, we listened to Jimmy Dore's, or we watch Jimmy Dore's show all the time, don't we, Sid?
Yeah.
And on Jimmy Dore's show, he pointed out that, all the free speech of the people were backing the war. But the thing is, okay, I'm losing my point a little bit. So what was Jimmy Dore again? What was he doing? He was backing what now? He was backing Alex Jones on his right to free speech.
Right.
But what he's pointing out is that the establishment media all have sites on Facebook and YouTube, and this is what I'm pointing out, is they all have Facebook and all these other, but they all have these opinion shows that go on where people call Trump the worst things, and they say the worst things about him and inciting violence. That is not free speech. I mean, because we got the evidence right in front of us. It says it's like free exercise thereof, or abridging the free speech of the press, or of the right of people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government to redress grievances. Now, it does say peaceably assemble. So you can go out and protest, but what isn't free speech is being violent in that protest, bringing weapons to that protest. Bringing a weapon to a protest isn't peacefully, is it?
No.
So there's a lot of things out there that people are doing that they're not being held accountable for. But yet you're going to hold Alex Jones accountable for attacking people that have been attacking him for 20 years? And when I said Alex Jones was right, well, he was right about fucking 9/11. Wasn't he, Sid?
Yeah, and NSA.
And the NSA. They were spying on us. He told us that years ahead of time that these people were spying on us. And then they were. We know that's evidence. How do we know it?
Which came out.
Julian Assange, but how do we know the guy that that escaped? What was his name? What was his name? The guy.
Oh, Edwin Snowden.
Edwin Snowden. That's right, Mr. Snowden. Mr. Snowden, he fucking revealed the fact that we were being spied on by the NSA and all this other stuff. And we also know that they've just, you know, re-fucking upped on all this stuff. And so they're still doing it. And so some courts have found against them and stuff like that. There's some other stuff going on. But, you know, the general purpose, meaning here, is if you're going to hold Alex Jones, like, accountable for, like, attacking people that have called for his death and have been attacking him and put up false stories and all the other stuff. I mean, the Kelly interview, that was totally fucking rigged and false. And so, like, you know, if you're like us, Sid and I, we'll go find out for ourselves what a person says. And so, like, all this 99% of the stuff they say he said, they take out of context. And you can make anybody look like the devil if you take what he says out of context. Can't you, Sid?
Yeah.
And so you're also telling me that Alex Jones doesn't have the right to defend himself against networks like CNN and Fox and all these different networks that have said the worst terrible things about him with no fucking evidence or falsified evidence. We have actual proof, like on the O'Reilly factory, they use false evidence to attack him. I mean, they've been using false evidence to attack fucking Alex Jones for years, and they act like we don't have any memory about this stuff. So we can't accept and say to YouTube, say, oh, we love you, YouTube. We do. We love YouTube, don't we, Sydney?
Yeah.
We want you. We think it's great. It's a platform, but you've forgotten your roots, YouTube. Haven't they, Sydney?
Yeah.
How did YouTube get started, Sydney?
As a free speech platform.
As a free speech platform. So if YouTube is a free speech platform and you're not letting anybody have free speech, then it's going to die as a business. And they say, oh, okay, well, private business. Well, YouTube claims to be a public business for everyone. And the internet is like a utility more now than it is anything else, isn't it, Sid?
Yeah.
Everybody needs to have the internet to survive. And you literally have cut a man's living off. And you're talking about shutting him up, taking away his living. What did he do illegal? That should be, why should he be put in prison? You know, in this country, we're innocent until found guilty. And like, you should adopt a policy of innocence until actual evidence is reviewed. Am I correct, Sydney?
Yeah.
Because you can't have a policy of guilt. You know, I mean, you got to set up YouTube and all these Google, they're making billions and billions of dollars, but they can't hire 50 people that can be unbiased and like, you know, hey, and you should never ban anybody because they say anything wrong. How about just bleeping it out of their fucking video? Using a bleeper, that's what, oh, you could have bleeped that swear word, right? Right?
Right.
Right? Because you're YouTube and you got the technology. You can just bleep out what they say for a minute. You don't need to ban anybody because they're getting angry. They're just stating their opinion, aren't they, Sid?
Yeah.
And, you know, we believe that the predictions about 9/11 and how it was all for greed and how they freed all the Arabs and let them run away. Now, are you going to let, you know, are you going to, if they're going to ban Alex Jones for what he says, how long do you have before they take away more of your rights to you know, say what you want to say? And we are on Facebook every day, and we're in Seattle. And believe me, we are in the heart of hate. Hate. All the time on Facebook. Constant hate towards Trump. I'm not a lover of Trump, in my opinion. I mean, I support general issues, but I am against war. And I think sometimes he's a little bombastic and he takes risks. But sometimes you got to take risks to succeed. And there's no doubt about that. That's what businessmen do. Now, do I think that's the most diplomatic way to say, hey, get your act together or we're going to do things? No, because he's not a diplomat. Is he a diplomat? No, he was a businessman. So until, you know, the media come to grips with the fact that they are the reason we have Trump,
right,
and the Democrats come to grips with the fact that they are the reason we have Trump,
right,
and until the people who are out protesting against him would realize that they're protesting against the wrong people. But again, protesting does not excuse violence or acting in violence. That protest becomes mute. You've disavowed everything that you stand for, and you're breaking the Constitution, because the Constitution doesn't allow you to go out and be violent in your protests. It says you can peacefully assemble and bring your grievances to the government. It doesn't say that you can fucking violently assemble and, you know, harass people that didn't fucking vote for the guy that you wanted to. Does it, Sid?
No.
So since they didn't vote for the guy you wanted to win, you can go out and peaceful and harass them in their restaurants and their houses. That's not peaceful. There's nothing peaceful about that. That's creating violence because they have to defend themselves. They don't know if you're going to attack them physically. And we know that you've attacked people in the past for the last 2 years. Am I right, Sydney?
Right.
So how can anybody on the right feel safe when you're out there doing those kinds of violence? And you blame them for wanting to defend themselves and you attack them. And then when people in your own party say, hey, stop, please stop all this baloney and deal with the corruption in our party so we can move on. But they're not doing that, are they?
No.
They're not. They're not doing that. They're not like dealing with the corruption. I mean, it shouldn't be the Republicans who are calling Hillary out. Who should it be, Sydney?
The Democrats.
The Democrats should be fucking calling her out because she's ruining their party, destroying it with corruption, greed, bribery, influence peddling. Everything she says to you is a lie just to get your vote, not because she cares about that issue. She has no fucking foundation. She has changed her issue 1,000 times. She's changed it on gay marriage. She's changed it on taxes. She's changed it on all kinds of different issues. They've changed on healthcare and all this, and then they tell you, oh yeah, you got to do this, and this is what it'll be. And then when it comes out, there was the Obama administration official who came out and said, oh yeah, we intentionally lied to the people because we know if we told them the truth, they wouldn't pass the bill. And that was okay with the media. And they call Alex Jones fake news. And they were wrong. They were wrong about Trump. They're wrong about Hillary's corruption. They're wrong about 9/11. They were wrong about the Iraq war. They're wrong about the Syrian war. John McCain and representatives went and met with terrorists and gave them weapons. Gaddafi surrendered. And how did we reward him? How did they reward Gaddafi for surrendering?
Killed him.
They killed him. Look, I'm all for, free speech. But, if you're going to enforce these kinds of things, you got to do it equally. And you can't actually, you know what? Screw that. Just bleep out things you don't like. Don't get rid of people's lives. Don't destroy people's lives because you disagree with them politically. Is that what America is about, Sydney?
No.
That's not what America is about. You don't even know what America is about, man. Learn some fucking history. That's my biggest anger of all, is not learning history. Let's give some more history on Russia, Sydney. You think they understand what the situation with Russia really is?
Probably not.
Okay, well, let's because I was there. I watched the history that the media refuses to tell you, which is actual history, since you millennials don't like to go back more than 3 years and pay attention to what happened. Or 40-something-year-olders who just forgot what happened 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. All right, let's go to Russia now. When we signed peace with Russia, we signed a lot of treaties, and one of these were intermediate ballistic missile treaty, didn't we?
Right.
Now, come along 15 years later, they also signed treaties with us about non-interference in their territories and shit. And we also know that we were interfering in Georgia, in Ossetia, and all these different territories. And those people are all Russian people, aren't they?
Yeah.
Who lived in Georgia. Now, these people were being abused by the new Georgian president. I'm not saying it's right what Putin did. I'm just saying this is why he did it. And because of our position and influencing and money peddling and bribing the Georgian officials to be friends with quote unquote America, Putin didn't like that because it's infringing on his fucking territory. So what did he do about it, Sydney? He moved into Ossetia.
Yeah.
All right. Common sense. Kept the law there, kept the peace. Eventually, I think they moved out of there, didn't they? Or they have like a safe zone there for the Ossetians because the Ossetians were being attacked by the Georgians. And there was trouble with their freedom and their rights and things like that. And the Russians were going to have none of that because they were Russian. And until the Soviet Union broke up, those people were all part of the same group. Georgia wasn't even, on the map. So when they moved there, so like those people have rights, and you can't just abuse those rights and expect, people not to want to defend themselves. Just like you liberals can't keep on abusing the rights of conservatives and expect them not to react to it. And then when they react to it, you blame them for being violent when you started it for 2 fucking years. Am I right, Sydney?
Right.
Before that, there was the violence was all coming out against police brutality, and Obama promoting division in the country because they were afraid of losing the black vote. And they want to control the black vote by triggering them. That's why I didn't want to use the word Trump, because it triggers you crazy leftists. Learn what your triggers are. And they know your triggers, don't they, Sydney?
Yeah.
They know what's triggering you. They study this stuff. They've studied it. They studied it and studied it. And let's talk about, keep going on with Russia. Okay, so now like Ossetia. And so, we got a big harangue over the Ossetia thing. But then, how does George Bush deal with this stuff? How does he deal with it, Sydney? Oh, he put medium-range missiles into Europe, into Poland. That was breaking a treaty. We signed a treaty, a peace treaty with Russia. Did we not?
Yes,
we did. We signed a peace treaty with Russia. And if you people don't want to have peace with the world, then you don't obey fucking peace treaties because they don't want peace with Russia. Why? Because it doesn't serve their almighty dollar. So they want their dollar and they want to have their agenda. So what do, Sydney? They break the peace treaty. And so now Putin's feeling threatened by that alone. And so that's cooling all our relations with, that's when the start of Russian relations started going south, is because of bad politicians breaking peace treaties. So, if you don't want to see both sides of an argument, you're losing your mind. You got to see things from the Russian point of view. I see things from a liberal point of view. I can see your point of view. Why can't you see a conservative point of view? I can see a conservative point of view, even though I'm very liberal. But as a liberal, I'm not a socialist. Why? Because I don't want the government to have control over everything that comes out of my body. The socialists believe that the government owns everything you make, do, sell, and breathe. I don't believe that. I am a free man. I am not a number. I am a free man. Sydney is not a number. He's a free man. Sydney.
Yes.
Are you a free man?
Yes. I'm not a number.
See, he's not a number. I'm not a number. Do you want to be a number, a statistic? Just no fucking self-identity whatsoever? Is that what you think is the future in the solving of your problems? I mean, that doesn't make sense. Wake up. It doesn't make sense to try to understand the position of people that have been lied to. And the peace in the world has been threatened. And they saw no way out, but other than like a Trump. Because there was no way out, no alternative. Everybody was going down the same path. Isn't that right, Sydney?
Right.
Well, what path are they going down to? War, death, division, hate. People are desperate. They voted for Obama to begin with because they were desperate for change. But when he didn't perform change, he just put the same old cronies in there. I mean, the biggest evil thing that has happened in the last 20 years is when they decided to bail out a fucking bunch of banks for stealing from you. They bailed them out for fucking being corrupt. Oh, and then they don't tell you why they were corrupt and changed all the laws. Oh, the Democrats changed all the laws so they could put all those bad mortgages out under a Clinton. But does it immediately educate you? But you got a person like Alex Jones who's trying to educate people, and he gets frustrated, and he's very vocal, and he's loud, and he's obnoxious. No doubt about it. But people have been attacking him for 20 years, trying to destroy his life. And you're going to tell me that he doesn't have a right to defend himself against left-wing attacks. So because your opinion is right, you've just made yourself a fascist. And there's nothing free about your speech. You're creating violence. The Hollywood actor who threatened Trump's child, right? Pedophilia, that guy?
Peter Fonda.
And he did from Twitter for that. Violence. That wasn't free speech. That was promoting violence. That's not free speech. Is it free speech, Sid?
No.
No, because we read what free speech was. You have the right to peacefully assemble and speak your mind in a peaceful manner. Now, I agree. But you haven't been holding all these other idiots accountable for their evil speech. So why is it suddenly necessary to hold Alex Jones unless, oh, I'll tell you why. Because he became the #1 app on YouTube and all these other sites. Google and all these different sites. He's become the #1 app. And suddenly he's a threat because he's a threat to their system. You know, so you go out and bribe people. Get rid of him. Here's $1,000. They don't care about truth. YouTube isn't caring about truth or reality. It's just protecting their buddies. But they don't understand. They're actually only destroying themselves. They're letting these evil media corporations dictate what they do in their business. They're letting these left-wing protest groups dictate what they're doing in their business, surrendering their rights and their freedom to fascists. Am I right, Sydney?
Right.
I mean, you can surrender if you want, but I don't want to surrender my rights. I'm not ready to. I mean, I don't even want to talk about this stuff. I don't care. I want to go out and play my music. I mean, I care, but I want to fucking play my music. I want to just go out and do my life. I don't want to get involved in this politics stuff, even though I know what's going on. It's just something that pisses people off, and I don't want to piss nobody off. I believe in love, don't I?
Yeah.
No, but your free speech doesn't include going on people's sites and threatening them. And Alex Jones was regularly threatened by leftists. Regularly. Crowder was attacked by leftists. Regularly threatening his life, threatening his job, threatening everything about him. That's their free speech. They're not held accountable for it, but it's not free speech, is it, Cindy?
No.
It's not. You don't have the right to violently speak to somebody. That's not free speech. And if you say Alex Jones is violently speaking to people, maybe you should look at the 20 years of people who have been attacking him for just speaking truth. Because we know that he was right about it. He was against, he brought out all the corruption against George Bush. You all loved him when he hated Bush. Didn't they, Sid?
Yeah.
You know, so like if you want to, hold people equally accountable, then, CNN should be taken off the air immediately because of the violence and speech that they fucking promote every day. Telling, Maxine Waters should be thrown in prison for inciting violence against individuals instead of the grievance against the government. It doesn't say anything that you have a free will to go out and have a grievance against individuals. You have a free right to have, harass the government or go out and protest against the government. Does it say anything about having a free right to harass individuals?
No.
It doesn't. It's not free speech. You are evil. And you don't understand America. So until you understand what the actual laws are, you shouldn't be banning anybody. And if you are going to ban people, then ban CNN, ban MSNBC, who daily, ABC, CBS, promote lies about Russia, whom we broke the treaties for. They won't tell us the truth about that. We broke the medium-range missile treaty, not Russia. We broke that. That threatens them directly because we put missiles in Europe. Isn't that right, Sydney?
Right.
And then as we're getting into Ukraine, then you see Russia sees a democratically elected person, got all his votes from the Crimea, democratically elected. Too bad. The globalists lost, but they couldn't accept that, just like they don't accept the loss to Trump. They couldn't accept that. So what did they do? What did George Soros do? They gave money and promotion to Nazis. Literally, they were the Nazi group in Ukraine who overthrew the government and sent the president into exile. Now, Ukraine was supposed to be a democratically elected government that Russia could trust, was on their side. But suddenly now they have a coup in that country, and they've kicked out a democratically elected president. And yet we still blame Russia? Isn't it George Soros and Obama? Isn't it their fault what happened in Ukraine? Isn't it the Democrats' fault? Isn't it George Bush's fault for what's going on in the world right now? But you all want to blame Trump. But you're protesting against the wrong people. It isn't his supporters. They want the same thing you do. Don't they, Sid?
Yeah.
What do they want? They want happiness. They want peace. They want freedom. But they don't want the government to control everything in their lives. And nobody in the party was given reality to that. And they're all sold out to the money, to the greed. You know, on Trump's credit, he only took small donations. He never took any corporate money. He spent $500 million of his own money. Hillary Clinton spent $1.5 billion of her own money. Then she spent all the DNC's money. Then she spent a bunch of money that came from China and some other places. And there's some estimates that she could have spent as much as $2.5 to $3 billion on the election between all the PACs that she controlled and everything else that they had with their foundation and all this other stuff. And her actions in the DNC is completely illegal. But there's no talk about that on CNN. There's no talk about that on MSNBC. All they're doing is calling for violence. Then they claim that's free speech. That's not the right of the press. They're not being pressed. The right of the press is to report facts and truth, to tell a story of what's going on. There's nothing there's nothing. Press is not opinion. Is press opinion, Sydney?
No.
So CNN and MSNBC and Fox and all these guys keep on purporting to be press, but they don't give anything but opinion, except for maybe like a 10-minute stint of news that's usually intertwined with opinion. And these people aren't being banned. That's not their free right. That's not the right of free press. Do you know the law? Do you know the First Amendment? Read the First Amendment. I'm begging you, read the First Amendment. All these things are in our control as people, and we have to rise up. And this is my rising up to YouTube. Please, YouTube, follow the law. Don't ban people for opinion. And I agree with YouTube that violent speech is not okay. But you're allowing it. If you allow it on one side, you got to allow it on both. And you also have to take into account a person is innocent until proven guilty. So if you're going to ruin a person's life, you better have watched every single one of those videos or find out what exactly he did. And they can't even quote exactly what he did. He just said, well, he generally does this. What is that? Generally does this. That's not like a quote. That's not like an individual action. Tell us the facts. And then maybe, okay, he said this, that's just over the line. He said that, said this, said that, but he didn't. You haven't done anything like that. And he banned all his videos because of a few bad ones that you think are bad. Or you could have had just the right to censor, like because you're acting like editorial by censoring him, by taking him off there. You're acting like an editor. Why don't you act like a lifetime editor and use your bots to bleep out bad things if he's acting for violence, or just bleep it out. And then they can go and say, hey, that's not what I meant, take it in context, and then you can unbleep it. But people should be innocent until found guilty. Just like the whole left has found Trump guilty and they have no evidence of anything. I'm sorry, I'm a liberal person. I live with gay people. I live with transgender. I don't care. I love them all. They're all my friends. But what I care about is truth. And so, all I can say is this is the time that we all need to wake up. I walked away from the Democrats a long time ago, and I was never with the Republicans. So as an independent person like I am, and if I don't have a choice, I don't vote, because I don't want to vote for evil, good, or lesser evil. They're still evil. Evil is evil. And these people have been evil for 20 fucking years, for 30 years, since George Bush first won. Think how deep that corruption is becoming. And then you realize that the CIA, the director of the CIA started, the people that were in the CIA started Google. How is that not part of the government? So if former government employees now work for Google, isn't that just government? Just because they're so supposedly former CIA, aren't they still just government? And then now you sold that. Google has bought YouTube that was built on free speech, and now they're taking away free speech. Isn't that just former government employees retarding free speech? If you believe that you should be allowed to say whatever you want. But free speech doesn't include calling for violence. Free speech doesn't peacefully assemble. You have the right. No one can shut you up and say that you're wrong for wanting a happy life, for wanting a job. No one can shut you up for wanting to have a job. No one can shut you up for wanting to worship the God you want to worship. No one in the government and no one out in the private sector, especially populated by former government employees. And no one in these organizations can do this with a straight face. When I go on Facebook every day, like I said, I live in Seattle. Every day, Sid, we live in Seattle, and we see our Facebook, we see every day towards Trump and conservatives. The worst, vile things ever. Kill them all. Hate all Republicans. We watched this gaming video on YouTube, right, Sid? Right. And in that video, it's a gaming video, and the guy literally is calling to blow up and murder Republicans on YouTube, to murder people. But they don't ban them. So they just don't want the competition. And they think, well, if we can get away with banning him, then we'll be able to fucking knock out this revolution that's going on in this country on the Bernie Sanders side. And then we'll knock out the revolution on the far right, on the libertarian conservative side. Because trust me, Trump supporters are not racist. They're libertarians. Most of them were libertarian who came into the Republican Party. They weren't even Republicans. Republicans came back and supported him after he got the nomination. But the majority of people were new voters who were libertarian outside the system because the system had let them down. Isn't that right, Sidney?
Right.
But you know why you won't get this explanation? Because the media doesn't want to tell you, even though that's the facts. The facts, the facts, the facts. Isn't that just the facts?
Yeah.
So the facts are, bottom line, free speech is absolutely necessary, and I totally defend Alex Jones, even though he's a bombastist, he's a provocateur, but he's also been right about a lot of things that the government was doing wrong. And so he is more news than the news is, because he actually reports things that are going on instead of making shit up. And, you know, CNN's making stuff up. How do we know they're making stuff up? Oh, there's the big Muslim protest in London against violence. And CNN staged the whole video. And that's just one instance where they've lied and they've obfuscated. They've been doing this. They lied us into war again and again and again. And CNN has always been on the forefront. And we know for a fact that Anderson Cooper worked for the CIA. So there's no freedom of speech there. Again, is that really the press when it's former government employees? Is Brennan, who's now an analyst, really, who still got security clearance, supposedly, right? That these people still had security clearance while they're working for the press. Are they not still government? So they have no right to call anybody actions treasonous. In fact, Brendan's comment was the most horrific thing anybody could do. If that isn't inciting violence, I don't know what is. When you call the actions of a president treasonous, that he committed treason because he doesn't like the what's going on with the CIA and all these other, but where they continually lied us into a war, where Mueller, the guy they appointed to investigate Trump, and we've seen lots of video. There's a video of him testifying before Congress just before the Iraq war, saying, oh yes indeed, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. There are weapons everywhere in the country. Saddam Hussein is totally evil. Yes, indeed, there are weapons of mass destruction. Yes, no, he is totally doing these wrongs. He is making all this stuff. And that all proved out to be complete lies. But this is the guy they hired to investigate Trump, who was trying to expose that stuff. Wake up. Stop being triggered. Stop letting them trigger you. I mean, shouldn't they stop that shit?
Yeah.
Because what happens when you're triggered, Sid? You get angry and you get violent. Sid knows exactly how to trigger me, don't you, Sid? Yeah. And you know what? How Sid triggers me? He triggers me by making excuses for being stupid. And that totally triggers me. I get outraged. It's wrong. I'm wrong. But, everybody's got a trigger. No, I love Sydney to death. Otherwise, it wouldn't outrage. So everybody's got triggers. And they know that. They know that. They exploit it. And so if you're being triggered by anything I've said, please forgive me for triggering you. I'm not trying to trigger you. I'm not trying to make you angry. I'm not trying to make you sad. I'm just trying to see reason. I'm just trying to unite people behind the concept of saying no to their control. Because I'm not a slave. Sid's not a slave. Are you a slave, Sid?
No.
I am a free man. I am not a number. Thank God for The Prisoner. The show, The Prisoner. Remember the Prisoner? Patrick McGowan? He made that show himself, which is amazing. But like Patrick McGowan was completely right. If you go watch the series The Prisoner, you will see that all the things they did in that show are the same things they're doing to us now. All the things they did to the prisoner, all the brain teases they were messing with him, are all the same thing the media is doing to us now. So if you don't want to be a number, if you don't want to like have a chip in your hand because you're a Christian, or because you don't want to surrender your financial freedom to some giant globalist oligarch who thinks they know what's right for you, they don't care about you. They only care about your power. And really, let me give some basic facts here. I mean, if you can't have peace in your own family, do you think we're going to have a global government that has any way the best out, looking out for the best of you? No way. No way. We can't even get that from local government. Can we, Sid?
No.
We can't even get that from local government. And government's always the problem in our lives, putting regulations and all this stuff, putting all the stuff, making stuff that crazy stuff, just crazy stuff, paying $10,000 for a hammer, all those kinds of things, crazy stuff, waste of your money. I mean, and put us $20 trillion in debt. All that happened, $20 trillion, all became avarice and greed by the politicians. Is why that happened, because of avarice and greed and not giving a hoot about the consequences of what they were doing. Because we know that they knew John McCain. I don't like John McCain, but in 2007, 2006, before the big collapse, he got up before the Senate and said, we're heading for a mortgage crisis. If we don't do something to stop the mortgage crisis, then the economy will collapse. Did he not say that? He did. He did that. He said that. And guess what happened? They didn't do anything. The Democrats played obstruction and the economy collapsed. And how many manufacturing jobs left the country? How many millions and millions of people were affected? But the Democrats didn't care because they were just interested in their own power. And same with some Republicans were just interested in bailing out corporate power and banks because they also are just globalists in the disguise. Again, telling us why they never accomplish anything, why they never get anything done, because they don't want to. They don't want to get those things out there. They don't care about those things. They never fucking, every party since before Bush was saying, oh, we're going to name Jerusalem the headquarters. Why? There's no money in it for them. They never did it. That's just to get votes. They don't care. There's no money in it. If there was money in it, they would have done it. It's pretty simple what is happening in the world. When we allow corporations to determine what free speech is, Who are they to decide what free speech is? I can decide because I have the Constitution. And the Constitution says you can peacefully assemble and remit grievances against the government. It doesn't say anything about private individuals, that you can go out and harass people. That's questionable because the language just isn't there, is it, Sid?
No.
So again, protecting free speech, if you're pissed off about what YouTube has done, the best thing is not to complain to YouTube, it's to complain to the government, because they can make laws to protect your free speech. They can't make laws to restrict them. No, they can't make laws to restrict your free speech, but they can make laws to protect them from greedy corporations who got bribes or whatever reason, personal or political reason, to take away an individual's freedom and destroy his life and destroy his livelihood. That's too much power. I mean, YouTube should be, recognized as a public utility for free speech. And that's what it was. That was the idea when YouTube was created, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was about the free speech idea. But because they have lost their minds, they're killing the golden goose. The goose that laid the golden egg for YouTube was free speech. Right, Cindy?
Right.
The goose that laid the golden egg for YouTube is free speech. The variety of opinions, variety and diversity of talent, and a mosh posh of creative thought. But they spat on their beginning. They spat on you as a YouTube user. And it won't be long where they've got all kinds of examples of other people they've banned besides Alex Jones. They just don't get the big press because they are the small guy, the tiny, small people. Sid and I, we're tiny and small. And right now, nobody's even watching this video. But I got to make it anyway, whether somebody watches or not, because it's my freedom, my free speech. And also because what else do I got to do? I felt like I was shadow banned on Facebook because in the beginning, I put out some very controversial statements about Trump and statements about the government. And about Facebook. And so I was shadow banned. I think this has been going on a long time. It just didn't just begin. If you had said anything bad about Facebook on Facebook, you suddenly became shadow banned. And how do I know this? Because I post stuff and I got 650 friends and 10 likes. 6 out of 650 people that are my friends on Facebook. So I just stopped caring. And now I just post stuff about anti-free speech stuff. I'm not posting any of my music up there. It's a waste of time. Any video I posted from YouTube, controversial video of whoever, was never seen by anybody. How do I know that? Didn't get one like. That's not possible. I started an account on mine, and within 3 months, we've got over 300 friends. All liking, supporting, because we support minds.com because they've been good to us. We're making money and we're getting support. YouTube, what are you doing for me? Oh, you cut my money. Oh, you made it harder for me to be seen. That's not a good business plan. You want to make it easy you got a guy that literally started with YouTube, Alex Jones, who's been with YouTube since the beginning. And your reward and your loyalty to him, you have no loyalty at all. Why should I have any loyalty to you? A guy that's been with the beginning, and you knew exactly what he is. You know exactly who he is. No one's surprising. Alex Jones isn't surprising anybody with what his antics are. We know it's just all showmanship. Nobody's taking that stuff seriously, are we, Sid?
No.
Do we believe everything Alex Jones fucking stands for? No. Did we find it hard to believe a lot of his conspiracy theories? Yes. But has he been right a lot? Yes. Did the CNN ever tell anything about Iraq? No. Do they say anything about Hillary actually voting to go to war in Iraq or her responsibility in that decision? No. And we know for a fact Trump was against the Iraq war, but they tried to everything else to debunk that. And they can't. They just say it, but it isn't true because I saw the video evidence of it. And I'll tell you what, there's other people out there who exploit Trump too. If a guy, religious guy, Mark Taylor guy, I ain't got nothing against him, whatever. But he's, going around acting like he's some sort of prophet because he predicted Donald Trump would be president a few years ago. So what? So did Dan Rather back in 1999 when he was going to run for the Reform Party candidate. Trump has been thinking about running for president for 30 years. Since the 90s. Oh, and even more crazy is the Democrats were trying to recruit him to run for president in 1991 and 92. You didn't know that, did you? Ha! The Democrats wanted Trump to run for president back in the 90s. Ha! But he's so evil now, isn't he? Whoa! Shock. But, if you have a little concept of history and do a little investigation and watch some actual what words come out of their mouths, and he was one of the best Democratic analysts in 1991, wanted Trump to run for president as a Democrat. But instead you got a criminal, a lifelong criminal that the media didn't tell you about. So you voted for him anyway. And then they still won't tell you about him, so you vote for his wife too. But Alex Jones, who's told you all this stuff and told you all the truth about this stuff, and he gets banned for telling truth. Yeah, he's loud. Yeah, he's obnoxious about it. But, yo, man, facts are facts. And if his facts have been backed up with history and from what he's been predicted, doing his conspiracy theory for 20, 30 years that he's been doing stuff since the 90s, he was against Trump more than anyone else out there. He was against, not Trump. He was against Bush more than anybody out there. Bush is a Republican, a full-out Republican, but he's a globalist Republican. He's a rhino. He's a neocon. He's a war freak. Bill Clinton, he'll take a dollar. He'll change his policy for whatever dollar you give him. He has no foundation. He abuses women. He rapes women. He's been doing this for 40 years and getting away with it. And they call CNN news. They call Fox news. They call MSNBC news. Certain individuals on those networks might be legit. And some people are just ignorant. So they might be legit, but they're just ignorant to facts. And they don't want to go find out the facts, because if they find out the facts, it may change their mind. God forbid we'd actually change our mind about something or learn the truth so we could change our mind to reflect what truth is. And we find this to be abhorrent, don't we, Sydney? Yeah. I mean, it's abhorrent. I mean, I just want to go, and like do a little screen sharing here. And I'm going to go. And after I go and do this, I'm going to show you our Minds account here. So I'm not lying to you. I've been on Facebook for 10 years, 10, 12 years. Yeah. And none of our posts get seen. Do they, Sydney?
No.
Now, but here on Minds, which has not been taken over by big corporations yet. We hope it never does, right? But Minds is just an example of a few other Gab and a few other sites, and we've started a BitChute account and things like that. We don't want that. We like YouTube, don't we? We generally like the idea of YouTube. We want to be on YouTube. We want to keep going on YouTube. But we don't, we also don't want to have our life's work destroyed because they don't like our opinions. And that's what they're doing to Alex Jones. They're destroying a life's work because they don't agree with his opinion. How callous is that? How horrible is that? You're going to ruin Rosie O'Donnell or lose all these people that, that will say one thing that's wrong, and ruin their whole life over it. That's terrible. It's evil. And who they call that person evil, but it's really this political correct crap brought on by CNN and all these MSNBC, all who have corrupt people, and we're going to base our opinions based on what they say? Are you crazy? Don't do that. They shouldn't do that, should they? Say
No.
They shouldn't do that. Now look, I got my Minds account here. We're working on it, and we're going forward. You know, we're trying to get subscribers here. But let me see here. Like, okay, so this is like stuff we posted that are getting, you know, like replies. All right, here's something. Look here. We're gonna show you. Let me just do this real quick, and we're gonna get to it. And I know that, you know, like, well, I'll tell you what. While I'm looking this up, I'll give you something to listen to. So you boogie while I look it. Boogie. Running a little overtime tonight, and we're going to be done with this broadcast pretty soon. But when we go out in love, and we want you to go out in love. And I'm going to share just a little bit, just to show that I'm not full of baloney. And like, here we go, share. Oh, I love this effect. And whoa, creepy. And so, like, here we are. This is our YouTube. This is our Minds account. See, I'm Tim Fantastic. See that? I've been on the site since beginning of May, right?
Yeah.
May, June, July. So it's 3 months. And in 3 months, we've got almost 300, 299 subscribers. Maybe you could be 300. I got a special prize for the 300 subscriber. But so, like, I'm going to go here to our YouTube site. Now, we've been on YouTube for how many years, Sydney?
Oh, man. 7, 8.
Since the beginning, since 2000. Yeah, we were there a long time ago, before Obama, when it was back at the start of our band. So it was around 2006. We've been on there since. So we've been on YouTube for how many thousands of years? And we're on YouTube here. We got our YouTube site here. And you look here, and you see, look, this is what we got going on right here with our free speech report right here. But you see, look at the friends, 248 friends on YouTube in 10 years. And we've got over 60 videos up here. We don't make videos all the time, but we got lots of music videos and things like that. You know, what's YouTube doing to promote the small guy? You know, if they're not going to promote Alex Jones and not be loyal to Alex Jones, who's got 2 million subscribers, how are they going to be loyal to you or loyal to me? They're not, are they, Sid?
No.
They're not. So, like, you know, you see, like, we've got a nice YouTube account here, got nice art on it. Can't see any reason why people wouldn't be attracted to it or why they wouldn't recommend any of the videos. So, you know, watch these videos. We want to be watching this video, and we're going to find out how effective, like, Minds is for us. It's like, because, like, right now, oh, isn't that great? We're getting some. All right, we're copying now. We're stopping. All right, now, and we're going back. Here we go back to Minds, and I get to take here, and I get to paste right here. Boom. And with that, boom. Now we got Fantastic Speech, and this is live right now. Oh, we're live right now, right here on Minds, and we're gonna post this. You're all watching. Minds is a great little site, and we're gonna post. Here we go, posting it. We're posted on Minds. Boom. All right, Minds, we're posted. See that?
Yeah.
Now, free speech. This video is going on right now. So, like, if you're watching on Minds, please send us a note. Send us a like. Like us. Watch this report. Watch it from the beginning. Watch it right now. I mean, we want the truth to come out about what's going on in the world. And we want you to get behind us. We need people to get behind us. Otherwise, we can't keep on doing this. I mean, we're busy. We're trying to do our music. And I want my music to be successful, but I also want the country to be successful. and we want each other to be successful, don't we, Sid?
Yes.
So you see now we're on Minds. That's our wonderful picture there. Sid's so gorgeous, aren't you, Sydney?
Yeah, if you say so. Yeah.
Sid's gorgeous. And so, like, since we're all gorgeous here, why wouldn't anybody love that puss? That's the gorgeous. He's gorgeous. Look at that. He's gorgeous. Why would anybody not love that? You got it. You know, why wouldn't we get any support from Facebook? Why wouldn't we get any support? But we get support on Minds. So that to me says it doesn't seem logical somehow that we're not getting any support from any of these other locations because they maybe shadow banned me. Am I right, Sydney?
Right.
I could be wrong. I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I don't have evidence of this. This is just my opinion, but it's an opinion that's been ongoing. Now, I want to know why Twitter suppressed us as well, didn't it? So
right.
The minute I liked Rand Paul, because I'm a libertarian, I like Rand Paul, and the minute I liked Rand Paul's profile, I stopped growing. Right after that, right, Sydney?
Right.
In fact, I went backwards. I stopped growing, and it doesn't matter how many tweets I make, we don't grow. I've been on there longer than here, and we got 33 followers on Twitter. After we were growing until the day I liked Rand Paul. And then after that day, we stopped growing and went backwards. And now, no matter what we post or what we do, nobody sees it, nobody likes it, and we're not getting any more followers. So that's called suppression, isn't it? It's pretty obvious. Yeah. I mean, I'm just, being a conspiracy theorist, but I think that's the truth. And just in less than 3 months, I've gotten over 300 views. And look, we're putting all kinds of neat things. We got a cool logo. We got cool band shows. We got shows we did. We got funny things. We got all kinds of things. We got There I Am. And it's like Stefan Molyneux. I put up this here. And then we got there's 162 likes for this one. That's being against the silence of Alex Jones. Now, only one dislike in the whole thing. The majority of people don't want people banned for their speech. It's not a business model that works, is it? I really think YouTube is making a mistake, and all you're doing is opening the door for other businesses like BitChute and Gab and all these Stream It and all these different ones, because we're going to explore those other ones. We don't want to. Do we want to? See, not necessarily. No. It's a lot easier work if we could just stay on YouTube. It's just so much easier. But if they're forcing us to move on, then we'll, I guess that's what we do. They're forcing us to move on from Facebook, and that's what we're going to do. Years ago, we were on a site called MySpace, weren't we, Sid?
Right.
MySpace suddenly disappeared off the face of the planet, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, MySpace is still there, but it ain't what it once was. And YouTube and Facebook are going to be the same thing. They're going to fall off the planet and never going to be what they once were. And Facebook is, you maintain it because you got a lot of friends on there, but you don't really want to. You only do it because I still got my friends and family, are friends with me and on Facebook. It's not because I want to be on Facebook. Is it because I want to be on Facebook? No, I don't want to be on Facebook. I could care less about Facebook. They don't care less about me or my rights. So why should I care about them? Just like I don't want to, if YouTube doesn't care about our rights, and as YouTube users, there's a lot of YouTube users, aren't there? Sid?
Yeah.
Millions of us. And if we all stand up and say no, then YouTube has got to listen. Don't they have to listen, Sid?
Yeah.
And so even if you're voted for Hillary and you don't want your free speech stopped. You don't want to have the right to keep calling Trump names. Don't they want to have that right to keep calling Trump names?
Yeah.
So they want that right to keep calling Trump names. So if you want that right, then we should have our rights too. And you should be against banning anybody. Bill Maher should be speaking from top of the fucking top of the mountains, screaming from the top of the mountain, save Alex Jones. Why should Bill Maher be doing that? Because he himself was banned and lost a job because of what he said. Am I right, Sydney?
Right.
So because, he said some controversial things about 9/11, looking back at it, he's probably right. But, he said some controversial things, and that got him all banned. Got him in serious trouble. It didn't destroy him, but probably just helped him. So, if anything, their policy is just all going to backfire. Look at all these great versions of my band. We got a great logo. All these things are nice. It's got 20 likes, and that's got, here our thank you thing. Look at that, 209 likes on a thank you. 209. And I can't get 10 likes on Facebook for 650 friends. That's ridiculous, isn't it? It's not even normal. And so, like, if that's not normal, then, you know, we shouldn't accept it as normal, because it's not normal, and it's never going to be normal. So, like, what's normal is opinion. People, see, I don't want to be vulgar, but I'm going to be vulgar. Maybe I'll say it in a nice. I'll try to say it in a nice way. Opinions are like buttholes. And if you suppress a butthole, what happens, Sydney? People start blowing up.
Right.
You can't clog that. You got to let people spout. You got to let people speak, or it blows up into something worse, much worse, right?
Right.
So as you can see, the picture's got 11, and, you know, all these. I just put these up. You know, it's got 31 people saw it and 11 likes. You know, so people are liking the stuff. So, like, if people are liking my stuff, why don't I get a response on Facebook? Why don't I get a response on Twitter? And I'm putting the exact same pictures up on Twitter. Oh, was it because I liked Rand Paul and suddenly I got no more friends? And my friends don't even see what I post? That's wrong. It's evil. And these people are downright evil. And I don't care. You know, we've got Julian Assange gave us the evidence of how evil they are. And if you don't want to know the facts, you're never going to know the facts. But if you want to learn the facts, go remind yourself of all the stuff that came out in the WikiLeaks emails. And it wasn't just what happened at the DNC. There's a whole lot more involved there, in Podesta and all these other emails that got exposed. So if you're not, you know, we should be thanking from the highest heavens people that expose these liars for what they are, shouldn't we, Sid?
Yeah.
I mean, so, like, if we can expose them for what they are, then we'll be able to, like, you know, have freedom again. Now, I know that nothing in this world is exactly what you want it to be. And, you know, nobody's opinion is ever going to be the same. And that's the problem with right-left paradigms. It's because there are no right-left paradigms, are there, Sid?
No.
Nobody is far right, all right. Nobody is all left. Nobody. People who have left opinions, like, I'm very liberal when it comes to, you know, social matters, when it comes to, like, interpersonal relationships, when it comes to people's sexuality and things. I'm very liberal. But money, conservative, I'm very conservative. I want the government to be responsible for their money. I want to protect my rights. I want to protect the rights of religious people. I want to protect the rights of all religions, not just Muslims. And if you're going to protect the rights of Muslims, you got to protect the rights of the people who call the Muslims out. The other religions who say that you're evil. They kill, honor killing. They kill their own children if they think they dishonored them. That's not okay. Is that okay, Sid?
No.
No, it's not okay. And if that makes me bad because I'm criticizing them, all right, I guess I'm bad. I guess I'll be bad. But I'm liberal. I am liberal. But what I am also is honest. An honest liberal. So as an honest liberal, I can't condone what's going on. How can any honest liberal condone it? You can't. That's why I wanted Jill Stein. I mean, I could never vote for Hillary. And, you know, I can't. I want people to come to the realization that they have to look for facts. You just can't accept the drive-by media's interpretation of things. Go see what the person said for themselves. Go witness it. I mean, they've claimed that Trump has said all these crappy shit. And you know what? 99.9% of it has been false, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because we check it. We double check. We triple check what the media says. And so I think everybody should be triple checking what the media says. You know, and we need hope. We need faith. We need a realistic outlook of the world. And part of the world is compromise. How you get things done is compromise. Extreme positions don't work in the world of America. Because in America is successful because of political compromise. Am I right, Sidney?
Right.
Because we walk the middle. Because you can't go all the way right because that pisses everybody in the middle off. If you go all the way left, that pisses everybody in the middle off. So you're going all the way left and you're pissing all the people in the middle off. And if you don't like it, you ban them when they try to say, hey, wait, you're messing up. I'd like to support what you say all the right things, but you're doing all the wrong things. Right, Sid?
Right.
Don't they say all the right things, but they're doing all the wrong things. So I based my life because I grew up on the streets. I had nothing. We'll talk about poor, talk about white privilege. I grew up in a foster home. I had nothing. I was in and out of foster homes on the street when I was 13 years old. What privilege did I have? All these white yuppies talk about this stuff as though, yeah, you were privileged because you came from wealth. Privilege comes with wealth, not color. Am I right, Sid?
Right.
Privilege comes, I'm going to say it one more time. Privilege comes from wealth, not color. The idea is to give people with lack of financial support the ability to rise above that. That's what you want to do. You don't want to separate them by color. You want to give the people with economic disability the ability to have economic success. That's basic economics 101 and has nothing to do with race, does it, Sidney?
No.
Nothing at all. If you keep telling people they're inferior, yeah, they start to believe it. You know, they're not as smart as everybody else. You keep telling them that. Yeah, because they haven't had education, because they didn't have opportunity. It's all about financial wealth, because we know every African American in this country who had a good education and has good parents succeed. They do well. They can do well. They're smart. They do well on tests. But if you're economically depressed, then they don't do well on tests. Duh. It has nothing to do with race. Just like poor white people don't have success, there are a lot more poor white people than there are any other race. So the whole point is not to, but the white difference is they believe they can achieve success. And what you believe, you create. So stop creating negative and start creating positive, isn't it? Right. So believe you can. Believe that you have a future. Believe that you're positive. I think you're absolutely 100% equal with me in every way, except for your ability to educate yourself. And if you do that, then you will be 100% equal with me in every way. There's nothing special about me, nothing special about Sid. I grew up on the streets with nothing, and I still don't have anything, do I, Sid? We're struggling here in Seattle because people are so crazy out here about helping people, but they do very little. How do we know that? Because we're buskers. What is a busker, Sydney? Explain it to me.
Somebody that plays music out on the streets for a living.
We play music on the streets. I see the people in the city every day in all sizes of it, shapes and sizes. And they're always waiting for someone else to help instead of doing it themselves. And that's the thing. There are a few that come up and you get one that lead the way, and then they all can kind of start to participate. But, lead the way. Don't be a follower. Lead the way. Go out there and help. Don't wait for the government. Go out there and help, because you might be supporting somebody who actually deserves it and is willing. He's not a drug addict. Not all people on the street, they've been told they're crap their whole life. They've been told they have no family, there's no love, nothing. And you're going to sit there and crap on them some more. Let's just go beat on them some more. Tell them they're inferior. Tell them they're no good. And what are they always going to be, Sydney?
You're going to feel inferior, no good.
Yeah, but it's a lie. It's a lie from hell. They are good. They are not inferior. Please. The world is a changing place. And everybody has to, participate in the world as it is. And I've gone on a long time tonight, and I appreciate you for holding on when you actually watch this video. But I guess we're done. We're not getting any viewers. We've done all we know what to do. It's frustrating for us because we want to make a difference. We want to help people. We want to help each other. We want to be happy, but we need your help. We need you to participate. And if they participate, it makes everything better for us and for the good things that we're trying to do in Seattle. Sydney, how many times have you seen me save somebody's life?
Several.
I don't want to go into every detail of the times that we've intervened for people and helped people when we're working on the street, we're playing music, but we also care about people. And so we try to help people. Please help us by supporting our music. Please help us by supporting these videos, by subscribing to YouTube. Please help us by subscribing to our minds. Please help us by finding us on Facebook. Please help us by subscribing to our YouTube page. You know, we're poor. We've always been, I don't even have a bank account. But I can't even make money from YouTube because I don't have a bank account. Now, what kind of privilege do I have? Because I can't even afford to go out and spend $50. $50 is a lot of money to spend for an ID. So if I didn't have a way to make money on my own, I couldn't even get a job because they make you spend $50 in Seattle for an ID. $50. And you wonder why there's so many homeless people? Because that $50 doesn't affect rich people, does it, Sydney?
No.
Who does it affect, Sydney?
Poor people.
The poor people. And who made all these laws and put these taxes on our IDs and all that stuff? Who's in control of Seattle, Sydney?
Well, the rich people.
No, who are these rich people in
Democrats.
Seattle? Rich Democrats. Rich Democrats in Seattle are oppressing Sydney and I because of their onerous tax laws, their onerous laws and unwillingness to protect renters. The rents in Seattle are going through the roof, creating homeless people because they can't afford to spend $1,000 a month on a room, on a tiny little room with no privacy. And if you want to split the room, you get a room and you got to split it. You got to pay $350, $400 to share a room with someone else. That's what Seattle's like. And you have no idea what that's like for a poor person to go through. And you telling me that I got privilege. You only got privilege if you've got money. And these people, with their money, what are they doing with it? Is Bill Gates, who owns Seattle, helping Seattle people? Oh. Bill Gates could fund all the homeless people in Seattle by himself, and it would be over. No more homeless problem. He's got $100 billion. Jeff Bezos, Amazon is also based. The worst, you would not believe the stories that I've heard about people who work for Amazon. Haven't we, Sid?
Right.
How abused they are. They run their business like Nazis, down to the last detail of your life. They want to police every last little bit of your life. And that's in Seattle. And he's the richest man on the planet himself. With $1 billion, could end homelessness in Seattle. And it would be way more effective than anything the government could ever do. So I'm tired of these liberals and Jeff Bezos who got rich selling stuff to the CIA and getting tax-free everywhere in the country. These liberals, they support the Democrats and they want to tax everybody to death, but they themselves don't want to pay any taxes. Do they, Sid?
No.
They obfuscate. Sharpton, not Sharpton, he got in tax trouble. What was that other congressman from New York? He got in tax trouble. Rostenkowski from Chicago. All these people are all tax evaders. And people from Jersey, tax evaders, all liberal. But they want to tax you to death. You know, Miss Waters there, she's screwing with her taxes and her money, bailing out her husband before the fucking homeless people all over in LA. How many homeless people are in there in LA, Cindy?
It's the highest amount of
homeless people in the fucking country in LA. What's Maxine Waters doing for them? Why doesn't she get in the face of the politicians in LA and get them to off their asses and do something for the homeless people in LA? When's it going to change? I hope someday it changes. I hope someday we get a bunch of viewers to watch our videos. It's out of my power. I need God's help. We all need God's mercy. You know, I hope to God he gives us financial help so we can make the money we need to make to survive in Seattle, because it's in survive here anymore. So we love Seattle. We love even the assholes. We love them too because we want them to see the light, don't we?
Yeah.
Because we believe in love, true love, where you love the people that you don't necessarily like. And that means the same thing to all you liberals and all these other people. You know, love is about caring about people that it's hard to care for, not for caring people that it's easy to care for. It's easy to like your buddy that's your neighbor and agrees with you 100% on everything. It's easy to like that guy. It's hard to like someone who doesn't agree with you. But I'm begging you, I'm pleading, I'm begging and pleading, I'm pleading and begging, I'm begging and pleading, pleading and begging and begging and pleading. Please share the love with your wealth, with your house, with your car, with your emotions, with your time, with your resources, with your wisdom. Share the love with those less fortunate than yourself. Because the stereotypical version why people end up in that situation and stay that way forever, because no one gave a damn about them being in that situation and didn't do anything about it. Even though they saw that guy lying under the bridge 100 times. Not once did they bring him food. Not once did they offer him some money. Not once did they do anything for him. So he stays there and he has no hope. And he believes that he's hopeless. So guess what he becomes, Sydney?
Right.
Hopeless. And that's not okay, is it, Sydney? No. So this is my free speech. My free speech is to recognize that you do not have the right to go out and protest and be violent towards anybody. That is not your free speech. Free speech is opinion, not attack. Free speech is grievance, not attack. Free speech is explaining what you're mad about, not attack. Free speech is only free if you keep it free. And yes, we've permitted up to this point, evidently, lots of things going over the line of free speech. And we know for a fact that nothing the press is doing is free speech. Or is it free press? Is it, Sydney?
No.
Why? They incite violence? Calling for violent action on people? On MSNBC, we get crazy people calling Trump all kinds of things, calling Trump supporters, calling it a white lash. If that isn't racist, I don't know what is. If that isn't divisive hate speech, I don't know what is. Life is tough enough without you adding to it. So don't add to the hate, add to the love. Right, Sydney?
Right.
Don't add to the hate, add to the love. I love Sydney. I love you. I love myself. But most of all, I love Jesus. I love God himself, Yeshua. I love everyone, even if they're sinners. No one said I had to be God is not a respecter of persons. What does that mean? He doesn't respect your wealth. He doesn't respect your position in the world. He doesn't respect how pompous you are. He doesn't expect your socialist point of views. He doesn't respect any of that. He only respects love. That's what he respects, love. If you're acting in love, that's what he respects. That's like his son. And there's so many, we can go into that for hours about how people have abused that. But the love of his son and the love his son showed is what God respects. Show love, be respected by God. That's my opinion. If you don't have to like it, please don't ban me for it. Please don't report me for it. Don't be a douche. Go on with your life. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And I guess nobody likes us because nobody's watching us. But we try, and we're going to keep trying because we're diehards, aren't we, Sydney?
Yes.
And we ain't got nothing else. I ain't nothing else. Nothing else. I never had family. I ain't had nothing else. And, you know, this is what we have. And we wish that YouTube and Facebook would allow us to do what we do and allow us to succeed and have success. And how do we know we can be successful? Because of what's happened on minds. Right, Sydney?
Right.
Because it's random people never heard of us before, but yet they're liking us and they're participating. So given the chance, people will subscribe and like us, given the chance. But if they're not given the chance, they never will. Right?
Right.
And so I'm not trying to be anonymous for my whole life. I'm just trying to sell some music to, like, you know, make a few dollars so I don't have to die an old man on the street with nothing, when I certainly made an effort to be successful. Like, making this video is our effort to do something with ourselves to be successful, so we don't have to be broke, starving, and poor on the streets. And then what we need is support from people, not their hate. And I wish people could get behind that and understand that, you know, we've sacrificed our love, we sacrificed our life, and for the people, and God willing, we'll get rewarded for it someday. You know, I don't understand God's will, but I'm trying to respect it. I'm trying to go along with it, whether I like it or not. Because if it was up to me, Sid and I would be sitting financially comfortable, able to actually help people with our money and do things rather than try to, like, make all the women in Africa sterile, like Bill Gates does, or make all the women in India sterile, like Bill Gates does. Maybe I would be supporting, you know, farming in tall buildings so we can, like, utilize land better. So you can farm 10 stories of land rather than 1 acre of land on the ground. You got 10 acres in the size of 1 acre. I think we could feed the planet, don't you, Sid?
Yeah.
Oh, solutions, not problems. The solution isn't overpopulation. The problem isn't overpopulation. The problem is lack of creativity. Here we got the worst problem in the world. I'm going to say this. I'll probably be murdered for it. But gravity is free. Gravity is free. Big Ben, the clock in England, runs on gravity. The weight is pulled and it turns wheels. So you have lots of weight turning wheels, creating electricity, creating movement in wheels. Turn that all into turbines, and what do you get, Sydney?
Gravity.
Free electricity, free gravity. And you only have the one-time fee. You don't even need to use caustic chemicals to store battery power because gravity never goes away. You don't need to depend on the sun. You don't need the wind. The most simple answer in the world, but because there's a lack of creativity, nobody's even considering it. Or very few people are. There's some, but it's very few. But it is the future. Don't we think it's the future?
Yeah.
And time will tell. In 20 years from now, or 10 years from now, 5 years from now, when I'm looking back at this video and we got gravity generators all over the planet, then I will have succeeded at my job to clean the planet up. You don't have to worry about global warming. You don't have to worry about emissions. You know, if you don't like coal, get a gravity generator. If you don't like the harsh chemicals they use to make solar power, or if you don't like the acres and acres of land they have to cover in solar power, just build a gravity tower. No wind. It's not going to kill no birds. You can make them nice and designy. You can have nice, cool statues everywhere, but they're just gravity towers in disguise. Solution, not hard. Give me the money, I'll make it happen. Help us out. Get us, I'll be happy to, or go do it yourself. I don't care. I don't care. I just want it to happen. I want people to use that energy and that power and that vision to fuel what you're doing. That there's easy answers for all these complicated problems. You don't have to kill half the planet. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to be creative. Am I right, Sydney?
Right.
And usually the answer is right in front of your face, as simple as night and day. Oh, it's not even more simple. It's just as simple as staying on the ground. As your feet on the ground. What keeps you on the ground? So if you want to stay grounded and earth friendly, then gravity is the way to go. Isn't it?
Yes.
And remember, you are not a number. You are a free human being. You are not a number. You are a free human being. You are not a number. You are a free human being. And all this cryptocurrency and all this other stuff is all leading to enslavement. That's all they want to do with their information. They want to enslave you. They want to keep you slaves, stupid and dumb. So go ahead, stay stupid, stay dumb. And what happens when they're stupid and dumb, Sid?
Well, the world collapses, basically. I mean,
Stupid and dumb, the world collapses. Everybody gets violent. All anger and all the crap in the world comes out and everybody else. And then we get 1 billion people dead. Oh, and that solves your problem for a few years. And then eventually the population will go back up and you still have no real answers for it because you didn't have any common sense. Common sense says, you know, if you don't have enough land to grow enough food this way, go this way. In fact, you could not only grow food, you could use it to grow food, but also to create
gravity.
Electricity.
Yeah.
So you could grow food and create electricity all in the same building. It's really not hard. Simple, simple, simple. But, you know, simple things are too simple because everybody wants to make them all complicated. No, but it's not complicated. It's foolish and insane to keep on a path that is destroying people's lives. People went out and voted for Bernie Sanders. That's why people went out and voted for Trump. Because there's a group of people that aren't crazy as the media wants to make them. They don't want destruction on the planet. They don't want to kill 1/3 of mankind to survive. They don't want to merge with machines like Michikaku. They want to realize that the best quantum computer in the world is your own brain if you learn how to use it. It exists on several different planes all at the same time. Isn't that what a quantum computer is?
Yeah.
Exactly what a quantum computer is. Your brain is a quantum computer. Use it. Use it. Use it. And it's very simple. I'm a seeker. What was going on in the world wasn't going to work for me, or I was going to commit suicide. So you have to find answers in that situation and find truth and love. And love and truth were my escape. And music. And now, I'm not out of it. We're right here, right now, we're in our jam space in Seattle. And in my living situation here isn't exactly, I don't want to go into details about my life and how I live. But trust me when I say, you all are living better than me. And I've sacrificed everything to try to get to this point where I could even make a video, let alone get someone to watch it. So even just making the video is a win for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, you know, this computer, it was given to me as a donation. You know, my gear. You can see, look around here, we've got all our gear in here. All this stuff, all our music gear, all my fucking plates in here. All those were gifts, most of it. Were gifts and donations to our ability to create music. All these things were created out of love. This band was created out of love. And I'm not going to change. So if I get success, I am who I am. All I need is a bed and a roof over my head. Really, what does anybody else need? Transportation and a bed. How much do you need? How much do you really need? See, I'm not a socialist, but I am a realist. And what that means is if you're rich and you're hoarding your money for your 12th generation child, it's like you're like Bezos and you got $150 billion. What the fuck? What are you holding on to it for? How much do you need? How many big cars do you need? How many big, huge yachts do you need? Those are the people you should be shaming and protesting against. We protest against corporations, but we've got to protest against these people with no morals who get rich on the backs of the poor. Those are your enemies. It has nothing to, it's crony capitalism. It's not even capitalism. Back in the 1900s, 1800s, you used to get rich. You'd spend your whole life getting rich, but then when you got older, you give it all away. And help you build libraries, you build schools, you build farms, you build whatever, service churches. And you take your money and you give it all away, and you leave your children just enough so they can have a decent life. But they don't need to be as rich as you were. They got to make that on their own. Things like this called philanthropy. That's the word, right? Philanthropy. We need more philanthropy out there. And philanthropy doesn't mean like Bill Gates giving the money to fucking colleges so they teach people to help him. That isn't generosity. That's not charity. He's only giving the money away because he wants something in return. He gets something out of it, not because he's fucking caring about anybody. You give money to a bunch of colleges so they turn out people that come work for you. Isn't being caring about. It's not caring about the poor people. That's not charity. That's helping yourself. That's selfishness. It may help those people get those jobs, but that's a limited number of people. But he's got billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. Jeff Bezos, Gates, Paul Allen, these are all people that are in Seattle in this area with billions and billions of dollars. Ballmer, who just bought the fucking Clippers, he used to be in Seattle too, in the world, right in this city. And we still got one of the largest homeless populations in the world, or homeless populations in the country. I want to say the world because India is like crazy. And, China's crazy. We're not going to compare it to that. We're not going to compare it to them, and they're suffering. But why are they suffering? Because they got no opportunity, and they get no opportunity. Yeah, socialism works. It doesn't. Communism works. It doesn't. Sorry. Killed millions and millions and millions of people. Both social and communism has killed millions and millions of people. Am I right, Sydney?
Right.
So that's not the answer. The answer is relying on yourself. To believe in yourself, to believe in love, to believe in each other, to have hope for the future. Even though you can't see it in front of you, you got to act it out as though you're getting there. So we make these videos, even though we're not getting the participation that we want, we still make them because we got belief in ourselves and our ability to overcome. And we want everybody to have that ability to overcome. And we want to overcome. And trust me, there was nothing privileged about my life. My parents were divorced when I was 5 years old, and I was out on the streets when I was 13, trying to survive, dealing with abuse and every other thing you could think of. And I don't want to go into it all. But the point is, our show is over, and I keep ranting on, but I like to talk, hoping that one viewer will come on while we're doing this live. But, I guess we're just going to have to suffer. Say goodbye, Sydney.
Bye, people.
Anything you'd like to add at the end here, Sydney?
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer. And we're going to leave here, and we're going to get on with our life. And we're going to party. Good night, everybody. Say good night to me.
Good night, people.